So for an on-site distributed solar, it is basically the net metering is very, very important basically, because it's an infirm power. So when the customer may not be able to consume, then he should be able to export it back to the grid, and the DISCOM should give him a credit for that.
Hi, we are at the REI, and this time we have with us Mr. Anil Bhatt. He is the Senior Vice President at Amplus Energy. Amplus, as we know, has been in the news for all the right reasons recently, and this is one of the most aggressive companies in India today, especially in the corporate and industrial space. Welcome, Mr. Bhatt.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, how has the year been for you?
Oh, it's been a fabulous year. In April this year, we announced the acquisition by Petronas. So we are now a member of the Petronas Group, a Fortune 500 company. So, and in terms of business also, the business is looking up.
Okay. So does that mean your targets go up big time?
Well, yes, we already had been, that was the philosophy. We would always keep our targets very high. And for this year, already the planning was in place in terms of the targets.
So, as a key player in the corporate and industrial market, which states do you find most responsive when it comes to establishing your business?
Well, in the north, we see Haryana, definitely. And now Uttar Pradesh, we'll be just commissioning our first open access solar plant of 75 megawatts in Mirzapur. The groundbreaking of which was done by Prime Minister Modi last year. And Punjab also we have seen some traction, but then there are some challenges in terms of the tariffs are on the lower side. In the west we are seeing traction in Maharashtra, and in south it is Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Again, Tamil Nadu, some challenges with respect to net metering and all.
So one of the advantages for you, I guess, is the high power cost in India, which makes it more attractive for a lot of corporates. But considering the fact that you also offer the OPEX model, is credit rating, or do you have enough demand from the corporate side with the right kind of credentials?
Well, yes, what you said is right, that for most of the industries in the states that I mentioned, the power costs are on the higher side, and that brings in the attractiveness for solar. And we can see that in the last few years, whatever work has done, so there are benchmarks that have got created. Companies have become conscious in terms of their sustainability targets. We can see that there is a good traction from C&I customers, and most of the MNCs actually their sustainability goals are driven from globally. So we can see good traction with the MNC customers as well. And in fact, in our customer portfolio, more than 50% of our customers are Fortune 500 companies.
So in those cases, is it the OPEX model or the CAPEX model?
We only work for OPEX. We only provide OPEX solutions. So mostly it is OPEX. There will be very few customers who will be looking at a CAPEX option because it's a non-core investment for them.
Okay. How big do you think is the Indian market potential when it comes to the OPEX-driven solar market for corporates?
Well, as on date, I can say that we would have just done it's the tip of the iceberg. There is huge potential, but it is also related with the economic factors basically. So currently, if there is a slowdown, but still in these environment, we can definitely see the interaction is there. So there are targets that Government of India has set up for the rooftop. So we are nowhere close to that, but definitely the market is huge. The market is huge in terms of it will be at least 10 gigawatts plus.
Okay. This is for just between now and 2022 or earlier?
No, I'm just saying in the long term, between now and 2022. So on an average, if even a half of a gigawatt is done in the corporate and commercial for the next 2 years, that will be a big achievement.
So since we spoke of targets, what is that one big thing or policy change that you believe could really help the corporate market to do even better?
Well, what can help is basically the regulations. The net metering becomes a challenge, and there has to be a certainty about these regulations. because in an OPEX model, our investments are long term, and we take a call on the regulations. We take a risk on customers' businesses. So if there is a certainty of the regulations, then that makes it very, very attractive. So for an on-site distributed solar, it is basically the net metering is very, very important basically, because it's an infirm power. So when the customer may not be able to consume, then he should be able to export it back to the grid, and the DISCOM should give him a credit for that.
The last time we went to Amplus, at your office, we were told that the company sees itself more as a broad solutions firm, energy solutions firm. So, any plans to get into other areas soon, anytime soon?
So yes, for us, we keep the customer's requirement in focus, and our aim is to provide a solutions around that. Whatever will come in future as a customer requirement in terms of renewable green energy, we will be there. So we are looking at maybe storage would be the next, e-mobility. So those are some of the things that we are looking at.
So anything which is going to happen over the next 12 months, interesting?
Well, yes, on the e-mobility we are trying to do a POC. So let us see how the market response is. And on the storage front, I think still the costs have to be attractive enough for the customers. So it's not making a business case as of now.
So final question, in the next 12 months, how much capacity do you think Amplus would have in place?
So we are going to end this financial year close to 650 megawatts of booking. We are setting up two major open access plants, one in Haryana of about 225 megawatts and another in Uttar Pradesh of another 225 megawatts. In Uttar Pradesh, we will be commissioning our plant very soon in the next 2 to 3 weeks time, and for which we have already tied up the capacities.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bhatt.
Thank you very much.